Welcome to another Matura Express English stream. Today it's all about learning content and vocabulary. As I've already told you in the introduction of this stream, today I'm gonna talk about the strategies for learning content and vocabulary for the English A-level exam. At first, as always, I'm gonna show you the outline of today's stream. At first, we're gonna start with the importance of a study plan, followed by how to summarize your topics, then how to create mind maps to revise topics. If you have tuned into the stream on Monday this week, the 22nd of April, you already know how to create mind maps, but I'm gonna revise it anyway. Pardon me. How to practice speaking about topics is also an important aspect of today's stream. And two last aspects we're going to talk about, or topics we're going to talk about today, are the strategies for learning topic vocabulary. So a crucial aspect too. Some of you might not know how they best approach learning topic vocabulary. And then we're going to talk about how to practice applying learned vocabulary. So it's going to be a very interesting stream today, as always. So the importance of a study plan. Basically, a study plan helps me to stay focused, also to achieve goals faster, but also to split up the topics you have, or the amount of content you have to have to learn. For example, if you have to study a whole book, it's very wise to chunk your or to separate your stuff you need to learn into different topics. It helps you also to plan your day, of course. So if you have a study plan, if you, for example, think about that you also want to do sports or anything like this, you need to have a study plan, or I at least have to have a study plan in order to achieve my daily routines, except of learning. And then, of course, it helps you to keep an overview of how far you are with the content and how much is left. Yeah, basically these are the most important things of a study plan. Now, how should we summarize a study plan, or your topics? Basically, not summarize a study plan. How do you summarize your topics? So at first you're gonna wanna have a look at what is the topic about and what are the most important aspects of it. So for example, you have sports. There's the topic of sports and recreation and nutrition. So think about what is the most important topic there. Of course, You should consult no, it's okay. Where was I? Of course, you want to consult the list of the things you need to learn in order to be able to successfully complete the content you need to learn, or to achieve your goals, basically. So, important aspects, kind of drifted away. Also, think about neurodevelopments that influence our daily lives, so that's basically you can accomplish this with reading newspapers, reading the today's newspaper, and so on and so on. I'm sorry, I have to apologize myself. I think I'm a bit sick today. But anyhow, write down the topic's most useful vocabulary and phrases. So that's very important for you. Thank you. I've just got a glass of water. So write down the topic's most useful vocabulary and phrases. It helps you afterwards to revise your vocabulary, to revise the topic vocabulary, and also take a look on the internet for more useful phrases. As always, there are a lot of phrases out there, and a lot of phrases you might encounter by reading articles online or in the newspaper or in a journal or something, magazine. And of course, use your books to structure your summary, which is quite helpful, I think, since the book already structures the topics in the table of contents, and therefore it's really easy to structure your topics too. So just have to know how to use the book, basically. And assign all the important phrases to each topic, subtopic, vocabulary that you can find in a book or online. So basically categorize the vocabulary. We've already talked about it, so that you have an overview, so that there is not any vocabulary that has nothing to do with sports and nutrition, for example, in this topic. So very, very, very basic things, but of course you need to consider those things.
We have a comment.
Ah, yeah.
It's hi, welcome, and wow.
Ah, thank you for your comment. However it was. We're really glad that you're watching the stream, and hope if you have any questions, be sure to ask them, and we try to answer them as soon as possible. Yeah. So enjoy the stream, of course. Another point here is not only write about each topic or subtopic, but also create mind maps. So mind maps are really important, of course, and I'm gonna discuss it in a few seconds. Also, brainstorming is a technique, I'd say, to facilitate to structure your thoughts, to come up with the different knowledge you have, and then afterwards structure it in a mind map, for example. So how to summarize your topics? Basically the main structure. As I've already told you, you have, for example, the topic Communication and the Media in the book Englisch für die Berufsreifeprüfung. There's the topic the mass media, subtopic television, newspapers and magazines. Then there is a bigger topic, internet and mobile phones, followed by internet, mobile phones, social networking, and so on. So, how to create a mind map out of this, or how can you create a mind map then? So, the first things you have to consider is that you kind of brainstorm, as I've already told you, and think about oh, and think about the main aspects of each topic. Maria saved my life with a glass of water.
I can get you some more.
No, it's okay. Aspects of each topic, of course. Think of the main aspects. So, then divide the topic into smaller parts, and then start creating the mind map. And of course, be sure to work accurately, but that's just an advice of mine. So that's how a mind map can look like. Very easy. In this case, it's about the topic, communication, and the media. Then a subtopic of communication and the media is mass media and television and documentaries, currents, affair, programs. Yeah, belongs to television. So very easy.
We have another question.
Yeah.
Nice one. Does you came from Tyrol?
Who?
I don't know. Maybe you have a fan.
I can't tell you that actually. I'm from Westeros. So how to practice speaking about topics? I think that's very not very, but it's kind of difficult, of course. More difficult than just writing down vocabulary or phrases or something like this. Very helpful for me was during my studies and during my career as an English student and second language acquisition, that you start thinking in English. So think in English, try to think in English at least a few times a day, maybe, or 2 days a week, 3 days a week. And as always, read, listen, speak, and write in English. Also important, since it helps you to just stay in the language. So and fully commit to the language English. So this means use English as much as possible as you can. Maybe you have somebody in your acquaintance is a native English speaker, or a friend of yours, or a friend of yours is an English native speaker. And this also helps you to practice your pronunciation, also with the help of an English dictionary. Sometimes can be very helpful. Merriam-Webster or Oxford dictionaries. And what's really helpful too, of course, is to present the topics to a friend or a girlfriend, family, and so on, that you have the opportunity to practice in front of people. And it's very different if you practice for yourself, basically, on your desk, revising the vocabulary or the content, the topics. It's very different to speak in front of people, and you should do it maybe if you can do it every day, since it's quite annoying for your friends and family, you can try to rehearse, I'd say, your speech by yourself and speaking out loud. So not only thinking but speaking, it's very helpful to practice it, actually. So now, strategies for learning topic vocabulary. Of course, I think that's much easier than learning the content. But of course, you have to keep in mind that there are also some things you need to consider and be aware of. So basically, to start off, use a notepad, phone, or computer to note your vocabulary. So very essential things. Or you should have, and then make a lucid list of all the words and phrases you have noted down. You might have heard of it. I think it's very common, but yeah, that's how you do it, or how I did it in the past. Then frequently update your list and revise. Revise. If possible, note down the English synonym or an English explanation of the vocabulary so that you stay in English. But of course, if it's too hard, just write the German equivalent of the word down. Of course, there are a lot of apps out there, you might know them, that help you revise, help you note down vocabulary. And of course, some apps at least, the vocabulary is stored in the app, so you can access it 24/7, even when you're ready in bed and try to watch your favorite Netflix series. You can access the app and add vocabularies from different series you're watching, or a book you're reading maybe. And the last point here, revise. It's very important, I guess, so it kind of gets stuck in your head. Okay, so how to practice applying learned vocabulary. As always, speak and write. Try to have as much conversations as possible. Think in English, I've already mentioned it, and use an app, I've already mentioned it too, since it just works this way. Some other things you might consider: there are a lot of exercises in books, on the internet, that are designed as gap fill exercises that help you revise some of the vocabulary for a specific learner's level. So in this case, it is B2 plus. Yeah, B2 plus. I think you just have to type in B2 plus.
B2 is fine as well.
Or B2 is fine as well. Exercises on the internet, and then, or gap fill exercises, then you will have, I think, a lot of them. So of course they have to kind of treat on the topic vocabulary, of course, but you can also do gap fill exercise for grammar, but I'd suggest that you do not use them as frequently, since the gap fill exercises just test you on a specific skill, in this case grammar or vocabulary. So be careful, but I think with vocabulary they can't be overused, because it's just a thing you have to revise and basically learn by heart. So that's the thing about content and vocabulary, and how to best learn it, and how you can best applied techniques you've learned during your path of learning. So do we have another question?
Yeah, no, it's not really a question. But hasty speaking, it's difficult to understand.
Okay.
I have writes a comment. I understand no Germany. I'm the English.
Okay. So of course, if you have any questions, ask us. We will reply even after the stream. And we'll come back to them in the next stream, of course, and try to treat the questions or try to focus on those questions, try to elaborate.
Oh, we have a nice comment from Obergstodon. Thank you very much and get well soon.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. I try to get very well soon. But yeah, that's the way it is. You need to work. I'm not sure, but I think so. Yeah. That could be that I'm allergic to a lot of things that are blooming out there. So if we don't have any questions, no, I can't read it actually.
Let's just thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much for your condolences. No. No, just joking. Yeah. So that was it. Was the thing about vocabulary and content learning for today. And yeah, see you on Monday or next week. Bye bye.